Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the NXT Ring Report. See these four matches, including Braun Breaker and Cameron Grimes, have a face-to-face meeting, and also new tag team champions from the NXT UK also appear. We'll talk about that as well as Toxic Attraction. They are the attraction, all right. Toxic Attraction make their appearance known. What the ladies of Toxic Attraction are up to coming up. And what does Nikita Lyons has to say to Mandy Rose? She's coming, gunning for Mandy Rose's women's championship, trying to be in the hunt. Only time will tell on that. And matches that's coming up for the Great American Bash. As you see right here, we'll talk about it coming up here momentarily as the all-new Pro Wrestling Show presents the NXT Ring Report, and it starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the NXT Ring Report here on Connect TV on YouTube. Thank you all for watching. Like I said again, this is the Pro Wrestling Show. You're watching a live edition, or if you're watching later on, thank you for watching. This is the Pro Wrestling Show. The first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe, Mr. Karen. Tell a friend, call a friend. Hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. A lot to get into as we recap, re-highlight, and see what had happened on tonight's NXT. It's like a reaction to NXT tonight. NXT, almost a week away for the Great American Bash. The Great American Bash coming your way next week on NXT. And it was a loaded card coming up right now. So, let's get started. What's going on with the NXT Ring Report? All right. As we can tell you this, you see these 6 segments and stuff, these matches, and what's going on here on the NXT brand, as you can tell and see. Well, we kick things off with tag team action right here. Core J and Roxana Perez took on Kaden Carr and Cassandra Chan by Casey. You tell these women are vying for contention. Who's going to be next in line for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles? And that was all about. And you can tell who won the match. It wasn't no secret. Core J and Roxana Perez won. They move on to meet the Women's Tag Team Champions Toxic Attraction down the road. We just don't know when, but they will have a tag team championship opportunity whenever that may be. It was like cease to amazing and stuff. So we'll see going forward for that match. But it was a hard-fought matchup. Toxic Attraction got their work cut out for them. They got to take on Core J and Roxana Perez. Also, too, GIovanni Venti went against Chiquita in a match that was that. GIovanni Venti, that's what he wants to call himself. He went against you know who in a match. GIovanni Venti didn't waste no time getting the job done, beating him, and Victoria, I guess they're saying for Victorious, winning his match, and he moves on and done this like a headlock or something. Got the win. Wonder he's not with what's his name stuff. So we'll just have to see on what's going on. But at the end of the day, we will know what's going on in Victorious and stuff like that. All right. Also, Tony D'Angelo. We know that he We know that Tony D'Angelo, that their storyline that he kicked out 2 dimes out the group, and 2 dimes was kicked out, left in the river. Guess storyline wise, and saying that he's got unfinished business with you know who, and he wants to get his hands on La Familia, La Fantasma, some way somehow in the match. But we have to wait and see on that one how this all gonna play out down the road with how this is gonna shape and stuff. Speaking of that, the Diamond Mine having dissension, having problems. They was on a united front. Roger Strong group, the Creed brothers, the NXT Tag Team Champions, they took the challenge of Joe Gasey and his Druids, and they accepted the challenge. So it was like all these matches was backstage segments as well. Speaking of that, Nikita Lyons returns. Nikita Lyons returns, and she's on the hunt. She's on the hunt to become NXT Women's Champion. She wants the Women's Championship some way, somehow. Nikita Lyons looks like she's been talked about all over social media as lately about her features, her behind. Now she's back and looking for the hunt to become the women's champion. She confronted Mandy Rose that she wants a shot at the women's championship. Mandy Rose felt like that wasn't going to happen some way, somehow. Mandy Rose challenged her to a match, but this time it was a non-title match. A non-title match it was. Well, Mandy Rose took on Nikita one-on-one, and Mandy Rose and Nikita went toe-to-toe. But at the end, Mandy Rose tried to cheat with the help of her team. And as you can tell, Nikita defeated Mandy. Nikita still trying to get her loss. Her and Mandy Rose, this is far from over. You can tell. This is far from over. Nikita Lyons will try to get herself into championship contention. We just have to wait and see. Well, we know that Wes Lee has been called out everything, but Trick Williams keeps calling him out. Wesley challenged Trick Williams to a match at the Great American Bash. Them two will meet one-on-one. We'll see how that's gonna play out next week. Also, Brooks, Indy Hartwell was in action. She went against some lady and beat her. Lady won the match over Indy, so it's far from over. And the lady's got the intelligent thing going on, I think. So we'll see going forward. So Brooks, Jackson, and Reed won their match. Brooks, Jackson, and Reed showing that the new tag team champions Pretty Deadly wants a shot at the NXT tag team titles. I think they'll get the UK tag team titles. They're the UK champions. How could they be from the UK, be from the United Kingdom? I guess they're setting them up to get their titles back and stuff, some way, somehow, off the country boys. You know how they go. Also, too, battle of the two big men. Zion Quinn wins against I forgot his name. It was far from that. Zion Quinn lost the match to this dude. Dude looked like a beast in the ring. But Zion Quinn looked like he's picking a fight with Apollo Crews, talking about Apollo Crews ain't the typical WWE superstar he's gonna be. I mean, he got a point. Like Apollo Crews is the typical WWE superstar, but Apollo Crews has done it all. He's been U.S. champion and Intercontinental champion, and throughout the last 2 years of the pandemic, and Zion Quinn could be the one to you know how that goes. But we'll see how all this is gonna pan out sooner rather than later. But look for that being a feud down the road between these two men. Zion Quinn 6'3" and Apollo Crews 6 foot or 6'1", or one of the two. But It is what it is. Also, too, the Creed brothers. We talked about the Creed brothers and the Creeds and Joe Gasey. They had a match with Joe Gasey and the Druids in a 6-man tag team match. Well, at the end, the Creeds had the match won, but Roger Strong miscommunicating with the Creeds, got himself caught up win, and let the Creeds lost the match to Roger Strong with the help with the Druid pinning one of Roger Strong. Well, Roger Strong was so mad, so frustrated, they took his anger out on the Creed, saying the Creeds don't listen to him. So next week on NXT at the Great American Bash, the tag team titles are on the line inside the diamond, within the Diamond Mine. The Creed brothers defend the tag team titles against their mentor Roger Strong and Damian Kemp next week. So will Roger Strong prove a lesson to the Creeds to listen, or will the Creeds find a way and beat their mentor and have their mentor going nuts even more that he lost to his pupils? We'll just have to wait and see on that one coming forward. Also too, we like we said, we talked about it. D'Angelo, Carmelo Hayes. We know that he signed a contract that he thought was an autograph from what's his name, Grayson Waller. It didn't end up being that way. Grayson Waller tricked Carmelo Hayes into tricking him thinking that it was merchandise and memorabilia, but it wasn't that. Now we know that with next week, the NXT North American Championship will be on the line as Carmelo Hayes defends his title against Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller tricked Carmelo Hayes to sign, believing that it was a contract and stuff, but it wasn't that to be the case. Now it's put up a shut up, and we're gonna see it next week. Which one of these two men will Carmelo Hayes keep his goal intact, or would Grayson Waller walk out NXT at the Bash, the new North American champion? Only time will tell on that. And finally, the final segment of the night. The final segment of the night was Braun Breaker and Cameron Grimes. Braun Breaker and Cameron Grimes had the final segment. They were supposed to have a face-to-face before their meeting at the Great American Bash, but things turned a little bit wild as normal. As Cameron Grimes kept talking about um what's his Braun Breaker's family, like he had got, you know, pushed in after he couldn't do it big in football. Well, Braun Breaker wants to prove that fact that he ain't coming in into football. He's in this for real, and his legacy is tied to the Steiner family. Well, we know that a fight had ensued. Uh, Grace, Cameron Grimes Irish whipped Braun Breaker so hard he Irish whipped him again, causing him to lose his arm and hurt his arm. I was like, wow. Good guy, bro. And I said, man, his arm got to be hurt. Maybe they're selling or what, but his arm was hurting. He couldn't even move his arm. If the NXT champion be in trouble, only time will tell on that. We'll have to wait and see. The NXT champion wasn't able to move his arm the way he wanted to move his arm. But we'll see and stuff. We'll see how all this will play out and stuff. But Braun Breaker, is his days as NXT champion are over, and we're Cameron Grimes, will he be the one to lead NXT champion with a Braun Breaker who's not at his weakest? When his arm, we don't know what's wrong with his arm. We should be getting updates in the coming days on what's going on with Braun Breaker, and he having an injury with his arm, dislocated shoulder. What? We'll just have to wait and see that. All right. that is the NXT Ring Report. Let's move quickly. Let's move quickly to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topic, we talk about right here. Um, Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke was involved in a car accident. She's okay. No one was hurt. Dana Brooke missed Raw, but everything's okay for Dana Brooke. And we hope the best for Dana Brooke being in that. What had happened to Dana Brooke. Yeah, oh wow. So I'm glad for her. Also, too, there's been this right here, a sign and a clinologist or whatever. Want to know AJ Styles turned 45. It's time for him to get his colonoscopy. If you know what colonoscopy means, you got to look at it and look. Well, she did the same thing for Brock Lesnar, John Cena, all of them in that age group. The time to get that, trying to check their colonoscopy. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? Well, we're gonna have to wait and see on that one. Like getting your colon cleansed and stuff. There's some. All right. Look for this week next week on the NXT Ring Report. Look for this being the match of the night. Carmelo Hayes and Cameron Grimes. Carmelo Hayes, an exceptional superstar. Cameron Grayson Waller, an exceptional one. E2 and the Creed brothers, whatever their match is going to be coming up too. With the Diamond Mine broken up right now, and we'll see. As well as the NXT Championship match between Cameron Grimes and Braun Breaker. I'm gonna leave you with Braun Breaker checking on his arm and seeing is everything okay. Thank you for watching the Pro Wrestling Show presents the NXT Ring Report. I've been your host, Kendra Dick, saying so long, and thank you for watching the NXT Ring Report. See you tomorrow for the AEW Dynamite Ring.